having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here. And you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's a highlight from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. Barry Greenfield is the author of My Journey to Blue Sky. I have to ask you about Thanksgiving dinner with Mike Nesmith of the Monkees. And what was on Nesmith's tray of Thanksgiving treats that took you by surprise. We will finish with this story.
Another wonderful guy. I was invited to his house for Thanksgiving dinner. I think it was 1968 Thanksgiving. And he was in the Monkees, sort of. The TV show was over, but they still toured. So I go to his house and we drive up the driveway, and there's a big sign by his mansion, "Do not leave car unattended." And there's a German shepherd running around the car barking that was bigger than a building. Mike comes out, and this is the part of the story that must be shared. He was wearing his green monkey toque on Thanksgiving Day. That's just something I've never asked him. He took it off after a while, but he wore it when he greeted us. And he spoke to the dog in German, and the dog sat down, and we got out of the car. And we had dinner, and I thought it was his wife, but it wasn't. It was his living girlfriend, Joanne. He wrote that great song. Her name was Joanne. Beautiful song, his best song. And we had dinner, which was turkey and broccoli and pumpkin pie and very nice. America everywhere. America, salt and pepper shakers with red, white, and blue stripes. Everything was nice. And then Mike was drinking wine and beer, and my friend Pete, who drove me there, he was a DJ in America, was drinking wine and beer, and I was drinking tea and coffee. And then we go into the living room, and in walks Joanne with a proper English tray, a wide one where you hold the handles like this, where you put the teapot, the cup, and the cookies. If you go for English tea, but there was no tea on the tray, and there was no cups, there's no sources. There was like lines of pills, different color pills, and a hash pipe and a chunk of hash, and I don't know, 8, I can't remember, 10 pills, maybe 6 of each, maybe more, but lined up like by someone who's like ADD, like they had to do it properly, in the right space. I noticed all that shit. And he put it down, and Mike said in his quote, "It's time for dessert, gentlemen." Well, Pete said, no, not for me. I'll just stick to beer. And I said, "Could I have another cup of coffee, please?" Another cup of coffee. And they lit the pipe. And even though I didn't smoke pot or hash back then, I just always loved the smell. It was never like an offensive smell to me. So
I hear you. I'm the same way, yeah.
Room just filled with smell. And I learned later, but I'm sure it's true that night, that you get contact highs. So I was high, and there was a lot of hash smoke. They get filling the pipe, and then they take a pink pill, and they discuss it. It was so weird. And I describe it in the book, I think, like 2 Italian chefs or something, a Portuguese chef. Well, if we take, and they knew the names, if we take, I'm making these names up. If we take andropline and melaline and wait 10 minutes and then take a duladada, it should be great.
Oh, Mike.
She takes an andropline and melaline, and then 10 minutes later, this ADD lady takes the doodle. But they never really got stupid. They just were normally, I guess, stoned. And he was so nice. And so they did a lot of drugs. I didn't do any. They did a lot of drugs. And then Mike brings out 2 guitars, and he said, "Play me something." So I played him New York's Clothes Tonight. And he played me different drum. And he played me Joanne, and he played me some Monkee songs. And it went on for an hour and a half. Then I taught him I remember I taught him how to Play with Fire, the Stone song, E minor, D, C, F. He was really happy to learn that. And then Peter fell asleep on the couch because he passed out. Joanne disappeared hours earlier. She was gone on her own private high, tired of talking about the Beatles and the Kinks and the Stones and the Hollies and the Foremost. And me and Mike went out to the pool, and we were dressed in our clothes. We weren't going swimming. It was 11 o'clock. And he had 2 speaker chairs in there. And Eric, have you ever been to see Love in Las Vegas?
No, never
Well,
seen
it's not there. It's not there anymore. But if it ever goes anywhere, it's beautiful. But it has a chair you sit in with a left speaker and a right speaker, and the music George Martin did for the Love mix comes through, blows your mind. I had my eyes closed. I didn't even watch Cirque du Soleil. I just listened to music most of the time. So he had these 2 speakers, and he was raving about Paperback Writer. And he played Paperback Writer, the single, over and over and over again through these 2 speakers, 20 times, 25 times. And he kept on raving about Paul McCartney's bass. And Paul McCartney's bass had been recorded differently for the very first time on Rain and Paperback Writer. It's done through an amplifier. And he kept on raving, and he kept on saying how shit the Monkees were and how much he hated their music, and how he was going to go tomorrow to San Francisco and come back with 10 grand, and how he didn't deserve it. And I left at 2 a.m. after having the most pleasant evening with a very talented man.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.